So, should you buy the DJI Spark in 2019? Let's talk about it. So if you're new here, what's up? My name is Nigel, and on this channel I try to help bridge the gap between budget gear and professional video. So before we go any further, I do want to say that this is not going to be an in-depth review of this drone. Instead, I'm going to talk about it from the point of view of a very novice drone pilot and someone whose primary focus on this little drone is the video features. So one of the things that drew me to purchase this little drone in 2019 is the fact that it is obviously really small. It's still one of the smallest drones you can get that shoots decent quality video. And it's actually coming down in price a lot, which is something that was really appealing to me. I got this drone with a controller for around $380, and that's about the going rate in the used market. Some other must-have accessories that I think you need for this drone is definitely at least 2 to 3 batteries. The controller, obviously. I also have a portable charging station, which I think is a really great investment because it can charge 2 batteries plus the battery on the drone simultaneously, and it has a USB out that you can also charge your phone or your controller with as well. One other really handy accessory is this case that I got for it off Amazon. This thing is so small and it fits so much easier in your backpack. Plus, it holds your DJI Spark, but it also holds 2 batteries, and there's a little spot up here that you can put cables. In here's a little cable that I use to connect the controller to my phone when I'm flying my little DJI Spark. So this is actually the second Spark that I've owned. I bought the first drone and had it for about a week before I crashed it, and I took it out into the gorge and was trying to get some shots at this waterfall, but I forgot the obstacle avoidance off, and so it hit a tree branch and then it just kind of crashed right into the ravine, and it's still up there to this day. It's in a spot in that waterfall that is honestly impossible to get to unless you're a professional climber. Yeah, as far as I know, it's still up there. If you're ever around Ponytail Falls here in Oregon and you see a drone that looks just like this with my mountain arrow sticker on it, I would definitely appreciate getting the SD card back. So now let's talk about what's most important to me as a filmmaker, and that is the video functions of this little drone. So as you probably already know, this is a 1080p drone, and it only shoots in 30 frames per second, which at first I thought was kind of a bummer because I like to shoot in 24 or 60, but when I shoot on gimbals, I like to shoot at 30 frames per second, and that might just get rid of all the little imperfections that you might get when you use a gimbal. So shooting 30 frames per second on a drone actually kind of makes sense because you can slow it down ever so slightly just to get rid of any imperfections that you get on this little 2-axis gimbal of the DJI Spark. Now, as far as the actual video quality, you've probably seen a bunch of footage from the Spark. You can get really good footage out of this little guy. Where it falls apart is the fact that it doesn't shoot in a very high bit rate, and so a lot of really fine details will just turn into a pixelated mush once you start to try to grade them in any way. So that's really the biggest letdown for me, is not necessarily that it doesn't shoot 4K, it's just that the 1080p that it does shoot isn't at a very high bit rate. Now, having said that, I have developed my own set of LUTs that I've been using with this little DJI Spark, and they are available now in my Selfie account. It's only like $5 for the LUT pack, but if you want to try those out on your DJI Spark footage, the link to my Selfie account is in the description below. So as far as flying this, like I said, I'm kind of a novice when it comes to flying a drone. I've flown a Phantom 3, but other than that, the Phantom 3 and this little DJI Spark have been my only real experience using a drone. For a lot of the work that I do, I don't really need drone footage, and if I ever did, I would hire someone or ask one of my friends who's way better at drones than I am to get the shots that I would need for it. So owning a drone has never really been a top priority as far as like gear that I wanted to buy, but I was kind of contemplating whether or not to get this just because it was going down in price so much and they looked so fun. And I'm happy to report that they are just as fun to fly as everybody says they are. But what it really all comes down to is the video from this little drone good enough to mix in with the footage that I'm already shooting? And honestly, yes. As long as you know the limitations of the video on this drone, you can actually pull off some really amazing shots. And it's just so crazy that this kind of technology is available to us as filmmakers. So what you should probably do next is click right over here to check out some of my other videos, and be sure to subscribe because I'm definitely going to have more content coming out about this little DJI Spark. There's a bunch of links in the description below, as well as the link to my Selfie account if you want to pick up the LUT pack that I developed for the DJI Spark. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, I will see you later. Bye.